We're live. I got the X notification.
Oh, that's good. You're Mr. Quick to the trigger there. I have gotten zero notifications yet. So,
It shows up on my phone. I can literally be on X on my Mac, but it'll show up on my phone and it won't show up on it on my Mac. Isn't that
well,
crazy?
I just got YouTube notifications, so that's good. And speaking of that, I would like to remind everybody that sometime in a couple of months, YouTube is going to start deleting all live shows over 30 days. All of our shows are on YouTube, and unless YouTube changes their policy, will remain there. Now, some of the earlier shows I got to go back up and upload before we started streaming to YouTube, but just want to remind everybody of that.
Well, I like that little bit of house cleaning. That's good to know. So,
Yeah.
what
Oh,
is
and
going on?
well, I got my voice back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, radio sounds good. I mean, it sounds like it used to sound. I knew there was a gremlin somewhere, and you found it,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Well, it helps to have the microphone turned the proper way for the setting that I have it on. So that plus getting my voice back, I'm just almost a happy camper tonight.
Well, I see that you titled the show Fox News. I had another name for the show. I don't know. It might have been something about trash or something like that, I guess. I don't know. But you changed it in Fox News.
Well,
Why, why are we calling the show?
you have to say it the correct way. It's
Oh,
faux news, and not faux like those noodles from the Vietnamese uh, restaurants. Faux is in fake news. We have been accused of. I don't know why somebody would be dumb enough to accuse us of being fake news. I just don't know.
you mean they think that we're not telling the truth regarding all of the things? Fix your cameras. Val Baker, you are a high achiever. Thank you so much. See, I'm just trying to burnish
Uh,
those amateur credentials, and you're helping out here.
yeah.
Love it.
Hopefully,
I
it
don't know.
will
That didn't
lock.
get it.
That is the magic signal for the camera to lock focus on. Oh, that's better. Lock focus. I can tweak the colors a little bit.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're accused of being Fox News, and we can't go and find the video, find the days, find the audio of when people are elected officials. God love them, do dumb things, say dumb things, and then everybody gets all butthurt because we talk about them. Everybody, they
Look,
don't get it.
we're now on show 249. Again, we really have more than that because we release standalone video content, and we've done some Louisiana watch stuff, some outdoor news stuff. But anyway, we're on show 249 basically of Bossier Watch. We've been doing this since October the 6th of 2020. All right. So over 4 years, we're in our fifth season technically. And we're at, I don't know, almost 7,300 followers on Facebook alone. That's admitted followers, people who've actually clicked the follow button.
Now, wait a minute. You said seasons. That
Yes,
implies that,
we're
it's
in
like,
season 5.
yeah, but like when I watch a series, they like have a big long break. What? We ain't took
What?
no break.
No, I think we've taken one or two breaks the entire time. Maybe three or four, maybe Christmas or something, maybe. I don't know. We're just gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, back on topic. I don't get how, everybody, look, there are people right now that are bashing us for talking about, I guess, sacred cows, who just months ago were complimenting us for talking about other people's sacred cows. But once we start talking about their secret sacred cows, oh, we're the devil.
Oh, I know.
Just,
Hey, and
just amazing.
speaking of one of those guys, I just remembered something that you shared with me, a particular person who we're going to talk about tonight that said they were going to come on this show.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Well,
that?
there's been several controversial people who said that they would come on the show, and I would just say that we're here every single week. And, if any elected official, if any controversial character, person, or whatever that, is in the limelight, if they want to come on here and debate, it's an open door policy.
Well,
Or
look, look, this comment right here from Francis. Fake news, really? When some one official lying on a commercial, talking about they fixed the streets and etc. in District 5. Laughing face. So, yeah, shots fired right there. Good job, Francis. Shots fired. And look, I want to be clear to everybody. We have said this on multiple shows and all that ad nauseum. We are not a news show. We are a political commentary by a couple of amateur journalists, admitted, absolutely amateur journalists. We are biased. We give our opinions and we share the inside baseball of the politics based in fact most of the time. Admittedly, every now and then we'll have a rumor come up that we think is worthy of mentioning. If you want to watch the news, go turn on your regular television.
case in point. Case in point. It was a rumor. It was a salacious rumor that there was this rift about money between Bossier City and the Bossier Parish School Board.
Yeah.
And who brought that to the public's attention, Rex?
Well, it would have been on this show back about some mushrooms.
Uh, it would have been us on this show, and we put it out there. And a lot of people then were saying fake news,
Oh,
that you
yeah.
can't believe those guys and all that. Yeah, yeah. Well, guess what? It's now publicly disclosed in an
Yeah.
open government forum that, what? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there was
Imagine
something
that.
to that.
They actually discussed it at today's city council meeting. And before we go to the break, I'll mention another one. I'm just picking from the bottom of our list here, or down in the deal a little bit. But anyway, the Teal Jones bankruptcy. Remember? Oh, we were fake news. We were totally incorrect about that bankruptcy and plain dealing. And again, companies go through bankruptcies. It's part of corporate business many times. Hope they pull through and the sawmill up there goes gangbusters. But there were people screaming from the rafters that we were incorrect and all that. And guess what?
Yep, right again. So
Right again, Dano.
I don't get, what is so hard about transparency? What is so hard about, look, all of us are human. Everybody makes mistakes, but
Sure.
some people, they can't make mistakes, and they damn sure can't acknowledge them to the public. They damn sure can't concede, you know what, I screwed up, I made a mistake. No, they have to say, oh, that's a lie. That's not
Yeah.
true. That's fake news. They're
Yeah.
making that up, this or that, or to try to, deceive the public. It I don't know. It just
Ah,
pisses me
it
off.
bothers. Yeah, I mean, and here we are, a couple of little amateur pundits, and giving our opinions, and we leave all of our shows posted so anybody can go back and see what we said or don't said. We even post show notes that I'm going back through for every show to give a synopsis of what we talk about and be searchable. I mean, we try to be as transparent and live up to what we're preaching here on our soapboxes every Tuesday night.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So anyway,
all right.
what else are we going to talk about? City
Uh,
versus school board at the council meeting, and there was a Robert Berry appearance.
It's like playing whack-a-mole with Robert Berry. Every time you bop him on top of the head, he pops up somewhere else. But we're going to reveal later in the show the real reason that he's been showing up in all these city council meetings, Vince Maggio ads, and all that. We know the real reason. And I bet nobody is going to publicize that in the non-faux news.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe Vince Maggio can run another ad for him or something.
Yeah,
Promote
it'll
him a little more.
be the Robert Barry show. He'll get, dual office holding again, get sued again. Anyway, I digress. We'll talk about that more after the break. So why don't we go ahead and do our countdown? Folks, y'all know the drill. Share the show out. Tag some folks. Send them a text message if you have to. Let them know. We're going to talk about this fight between the school board and Bossier City. We're going to talk about Robert Barry, and, well, we got to talk about some more events, which is why he's still in the center of our background there. How about
Let's do
that,
it.
Mr.
Let's
Long?
go.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. We'll be right back.
A lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. You know, there's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
And aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS.
We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Through conscious shocking actions, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr. In theory, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And we're back. It is kind of a slow night. I mean, we're picking up a few people that didn't want to listen to the commercials. We understand, we get it. Although I would like to point out that without the help of your good wife, Miss Carol Lowry at Acadiana Mortgage, without her patience with us and, use of electricity and computer usage sometimes and internet usage, as well as Pelican training up there, we would show would not be as easy to do.
That's right. The Ferrises, I mean, if you, a lot of people may not know about Pelican training and consulting, but, industrial training and safety, a lot of people have to have PEC cards in the oil and gas industry. A lot of people have to have hazmat, different levels of training and things like that. I mean, the Ferrises down there, they've got a top-notch operation. And if your company is, in need of those types of services, you ought to reach out to them. They provide I'll say this, they are entertaining in the way they present things. I mean, I was a PEC instructor, and I got to tell you, it's boring crap and like hate it. But I don't know, they are fun people to be around, and I highly recommend you consider them. Definitely.
I would tend to agree. Very good people. All right. Val Baker says, remind voters to vote no or yes on the next one. And we're going to post a graphic on our Facebook page, Val, but that's a good point. It's real easy. Vote no to all the city things in March. Vote yes in May. It's simple. No to the city in March. Yes in May is what we recommend. Correct, Mr. Lowry?
Yeah. I think that's the way even Wes articulated it on a recent interview that he did on Keel, and I thought he did a pretty good job. He articulated it that way. So, hey, I got to tell you, like, you know how we always watch these council meetings, we always watch these different meetings, and they're entertaining to a point. And I came across one. It's kind of going across that. You know me, I'm always trying to pull something off X, start of the show for us. It's a little funny.
Right. Yeah.
Now, there's some people, I mean, if you're of the liberal ideology, and you might not find this funny, but just this interaction in this meeting here that we're fixing to show, I, I, I don't know. I don't know what to say. You just got to play it and see what people say.
All right. Let's
I
play
now
it.
recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman,
sorry.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
He didn't say her.
This hearing is adjourned.
Wow. Well, we thought we had some contentious meetings.
So the duly elected representative on the far right is a trans, and the chairman represented him announced him and recognized him as him, and they lost their crap. But the interesting thing is the trans representative recognized the chairman as Madam Chairman. Did you catch that?
Yeah, these days it is so confusing. This is a rabbit hole we could go down and never come out of, but it's just so confusing these days. That's all.
But who's it confusing for?
Well, it's not confusing to me. I mean,
well, okay. Well, just checking. I mean,
I don't know. The whole woke thing. Hopefully, it'll all go back to sleep. They won't be woke anymore. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're going to come back. I don't know. But I like to see we're transparency. We're calling it like we're calling it.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Rusty Maddox, that is a thought that I will not be able to get out of my head soon. He says, "Let Monty show up in drag, and we can see." Sarcastically, I say, "Thank you, Rusty, for that vision that I didn't want to have in my head."
Well,
right.
Look, what is this? What is this stuff? I mean, there was some guy talking on some thing on bossierwatch. What was the name? What's the name?
Oh, are you referring to our deep dive segments with Morgan?
Yeah, Morgan, Morgan.
Yeah.
Who the hell is Morgan?
Well, I don't know Morgan's last name, because if I say Morgan's last name, then we might get sued for trademark or copyright or something like that. But, so his name is just Morgan. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, Morgan it is.
Yeah. So what those are, in case you haven't seen, is we're kind of launching what I'm calling these deep dive segments. Let me get my screen back up there. Hold on just a second. These deep dive segments, and it's just a little different take, a little shorter content, trying to keep them about 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in that range. And it just goes a little further in depth about some of the topics. Of course, the very first one was over the controversy with the term limits and the malfeasance in office and the DA's sham of an investigation. And so we just launched that. And look, people must be enjoying it. It's somewhere over north of, I don't know, 2,000 views right now. All organic, by the way. No boosting, no advertising.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people take for granted in what we do. I mean, we don't spend money boosting any of our stuff. I don't know that we've ever spent a dime on boosting anything, and
I don't. Well, I think maybe the only one would be it was one of the debates we had. We spent a little bit of money to boost that up for the debate, but other than that, our normal posts, our shows, and all that, we haven't spent any money to boost. It's all organic.
You're right. I do recall that because I think that was the people who asked us to do the debate asked to push it out, and we did because they asked us to. I remember that now.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is the deep dive segment. We'll be releasing these some periodically. I'm also going to do something kind of similar over on the Bossier term limits page. And, you know, just like the history of Bossier, the whole Bossier term limits movement and coalition and all that, the actual true history of it, and some of the other things concerning the city council meetings and statements that have been made. So as we have time, we'll make sure and push some of those out.
Yeah, good deal. So a lot of people, we've gotten several emails that people are wanting to know about these constitutional amendments that are going to be on the ballot. And admittedly, I hate to admit this, I have really been slacking on those items and I haven't studied them like I normally do. But thankfully, there's other folks out there, people that, you know, we value their opinion, that have done some deep dive on it. And you've kind of dug into it a little bit and followed some of what they're saying, right?
Yeah, I have, and we've posted some of this on Bossier Watch also, but we're going to post some more. And well, hold on, folks, I got to adjust the screen here. Let's see. I guess I should have done that before I switched screens, but anyway, hold on just a second. Technical issues for just a momento. Well, anyway, sorry, Wes. If y'all will go over to sobo.live, Wes has got his picks and decisions or suggestions for the Louisiana constitutional amendments in the March election. So I think there's 4 of them we're going to be voting on. He also gives his picks for the city council races and all that. And so we would suggest that you go to sobo.live, not .com, sobo.live, and take a look at his picks. We're also going to release ours, and so I'll just say up front that generally speaking, my opinion tracks closely with our friends down in central Louisiana, where I don't think you should vote yes to any of the state constitutional amendments. So in other words, I'm a no, unless I change my mind before Saturday. I'm a no on the state constitutional amendments, only from the standpoint that our state constitution is, I think, long overdue for an overhaul, but it has too much stuff in it. You know, you look at it versus like the U.S. Constitution that governs our federal government. I think trying to include a lot of this and incorporate a lot of this into the Constitution, it should be legislatively decided, most of it. Some of it on the judiciary. So I'm not a big fan of bloating our state constitution anymore. Do you have a similar opinion or a differing opinion, Mr. Lowry?
Well, you know, I mean, it's like that saying, you know, the devil is in the details, and I'm a little conflicted on it because I'm having a little difficulty getting kind of down in the weeds on this. And here's the one issue why, you know, I know that our good friends with LeCag, you know, I think they're advocating against most of these. And I saw where there's another organization, and I'll use this example, Amendment Number 2. And the reason that I focused on Amendment Number 2, a lot of people are advocating against it. And some of the stated reasons are that your churches or you know, those type organizations were going to lose, you know, their exemptions. Well, the problem with that is I mean, I'm literally on my screen right now looking at an email that, Governor Landry put out. I mean, and look, I don't make any bones about it. I call me a loyal Landry lackey, whatever you want to. But in this email, Jeff addresses that specifically and says that that is false, that, religious organizations are not going to lose their exemptions. In fact, Amendment 2 protects homestead exemption and the exemptions of religious organizations a little bit more. It talks about how it permanently lowers the maximum income tax rate. Well, those are talking points, but the email goes into depth quite a bit further. In fact, it goes into where the and this is how things go: the false attacks or the false news or however you said it. It's always happens in political campaigns, but he provides sources on this. In fact, he goes on to in the email talking about how the fake information that's being put out there is actually originating from a liberal group that are trying to defeat all of it. In fact, they filed a lawsuit already, just trying to mix everything up and confuse everybody. And for example, the teachers' pay raise issue, Jeff Landry says that's false. The assertion was that the teachers already have the raise. He says that's false. He says that the legislature has given teachers a stipend in the past. However, this is not permanent and has to be funded year by year. This turns into a political football. Where have we heard that before with policemen and firemen in Bossier City? They're on the roller coaster of having to, they'll get average pay, then having to fight for it again. Well, the stipend apparently for the teachers, it's the same situation. And this Amendment 2 supposedly is addressing that and correcting that to where it'll be a permanent, where they won't have to be fighting for it every single year.
Is Amendment 2 also the one where they're trying to do away with is it the state income tax that they're trying to do away with in Amendment 2?
Yeah, it is the one where they are permanently lowering, the maximum income tax rate. So that it's this thing of trying to, Ryan, I trust Chris Alexander as well too. We may call Chris and see if Chris is available, try to get him on the show, talk a little bit more in depth about it. It's the same one, Rex. Definitely.
Yeah. Or see if he'll come on Thursday night. I think we may do a Thursday night special episode, but we'll talk some more about that towards the end of the show. So I also put links in the comments to Wes's Sobo Live article and put a link to the PAR guide, PAR. That's the, what is it? Public Research Council? No, public something. Anyway, to the their guide to the 2025 constitutional amendments. I put a link to that in the comments as well. So we recommend that you go read both of those sources as well. And, got some good information. Arguably, some of these constitutional amendments, the actual amendments themselves are much longer than what you're going to see on your ballot. So do your homework first. Anyway, so.
And that's what it all comes down to is about, unfortunately, the majority of us are not educated on these. We don't want the details, but the devils, are in the details. And you've got to do your homework to know on these things. And not enough people take the time to educate themselves on all of these issues. And that enables politicians to take advantage of you as a voter, and they can pull the rug over your head because they know that you're going to defer to the short answer rather than the long answer with all of the details. I mean, right. It's the way the world works.
Yep. Okay. So, that's enough, I guess, about the amendments. What do we have next on our list of things to talk about? I also released some posts about the first readings and second readings at the city council meetings. And the reason I'm doing that is just to go into a deeper dive, pardon the pun referencing that Morgan video, but to go into a deeper dive on some of the stuff that happens inside the local government bodies. And, you know, the way that works is you can go through and read the analysis that I put up there, but basically there's nothing in the city charter, there's no city council official procedure that I could find, there's nothing in state law, there's nothing in the state constitution that says you have to have 2 readings and vote on both readings. However, voting on the first reading, if you look at the city council's agendas, typically they're introducing the ordinance on the first reading. And so they go ahead and vote on it. Now, some people say that, oh, it's part of Robert's rules. It's not actually in Robert's rules. And as Jacobs reminded us, they don't follow Robert's rules, except, of course, they literally voted to follow Robert's rules. But they technically, when they vote on the first, I can't stand it. It's like putting catnip in front of me.
You lying dog-faced pony soldier, you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, but technically, when they introduce an ordinance at the city council, they're voting on that on the first reading, and then the second reading is to approve it or not, and so that's the vote on the second reading. But again, I'm trying to spur a little healthy debate and commentary with some of these posts and doing this further analysis. So, if you enjoy them, great, let us know. If you don't enjoy them, let us know that too, and I won't waste my time.
Hey, Jeff Sadow made a good point. He says the governor is correct. Another suit was filed today against number 1 and number 3, also part of the strategy by the left to try to sink these measures without a vote. And, you know, I hate it, but it is the way it is. Lawfare, unfortunately, lawfare plays a larger role in defining our politics, defining, you know, everything. And I don't know, it's like the wise politicians use lawfare to control and everything.
But here's the flip side to that, and I generally agree with that, but the flip side to the term lawfare, the left uses it when the right does something and sues, and the right uses it when the left does something and sues. But I would remind everybody that we do have at our core 3 distinct governmental branches at the federal level, at the state level, and mostly at the local level. You have the executive, you have the judicial. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, now you were getting to the 3. You were talking about 3 that I wasn't thinking of when you were saying that, but now you're getting there. You know, the executive, legislative, and judicial. So let me ask.
If I remember my basic civics, and so let me finish, and then go ahead with the question. So, you know, lawsuits or lawfare is part of the deal because it's not, you know, I hate to quote your favorite person, the Princess Juliana, when she said opinions vary and that can change, or something to the effect of that can change with a lawsuit. Actually, she is correct about that.
Yeah, now, she is. But let me say this. And before I say this, to those of you who are going to invoke, who is it? I think John Jay or some of these people. I mean, and I know my history, but I want to, let me say it like this, propose a theory. Well, do you think when they, you know, kind of idealized and talked about, you know, the distinction between the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, did they think about how many lawyers would be in the legislative part?
Probably not.
And that would be a conflict?
Well, if I remember my history correctly, most of those guys that wrote our Constitution, actually, most of it was written in a bar or tavern. And I don't think many of them were lawyers.
Well, there were quite a few lawyers, and I think, I got to look real quick. I think it was John Jay. I should know better. I'm showing my ignorance here.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, was a lawyer who did not go to law school. So there's that little tidbit of history.
I mean, there's no question about that attorneys had a really big impact on, the language and the writings of the Constitution and how our government works and the form and all. It had a great impact. But a lot of people today wonder and think, that attorneys have too much influence on both our legislative, the judicial. They have the best of both worlds. They're able to influence through the judicial system, but then they also steer and influence it on the legislative side as well too, and that's too much power.
Fair point.
And we're seeing it. We see it a lot, a whole lot. The insurance lobby, and I don't completely think that the insurance lobby is completely crystal clean on everything pertaining to insurance. I mean, but this thing with the who's right, the lawyers or the insurance. I mean, all the while us in the public, we're the ones in the middle here getting killed. I mean, neither one of those two industries are hurting. They're doing fine, but all of us in the middle are the ones that are getting killed here.
Well, and look, I hope nobody takes what I was trying to articulate the wrong way. I'm absolutely not in favor of attorneys, except if I ever need one. But the lawyers make the money on both sides of it. They literally get to laugh all the way to the bank. So I'll just leave it at that. All right. Boy, you are peering intently over there, Mr. Lowry. Must be something really important.
No, I was just making sure I was right. I was betting myself on John Jay, and I was right. John Jay.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. So let me go down. Let's switch gears a little bit here, and then we'll get into the DA's situation, the city council, and all that. So I want to address again the show title. We're talking about it before the break. The show title is Faux News or Fox News. That's in reference to fake news. Well, again, like Duke and I were saying, we're not a news show. We're an opinionated, biased, amateur journalistic, show. That's what we are.
Was you trying to say that in a French kind of way or a Canadian kind of way?
Well, I do not do French at all. And certainly not Canadian.
You're going with the Canadians. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got it. Keep going.
I'm more South Louisiana French than I am French or Canadian. And I'm not any part of South Louisiana really either. All right. But I was going to point out some of the things I can remember off the top of my head. Again, we were talking about back in show 231, which was, I think, in October of 2024, this Bossier Parish School Board tax audit and that brewing battle between the school board and the city. We mentioned the Teal Jones bankruptcy. We talked about the first Bossier stuff. We even had Allison Jones come on the show for an interview. We did debates with candidates. We've done that here, very successful debates. We were the first ones to start raising Cain about Tahoe Tommy and joyriding in Bossier police cars by mechanics and body shops. We brought you the Kyle Schultz situation, courtesy of the Princess. And I don't know, it goes on and on. We talked about the sewer districts, railroad crossings, the Shed Road situation. We talked about constitutional carry. I mean, we've had guests on the show. So again, we're not a news show. We're a punditry show, an amateur political analysis, whatever you want to call it. So I want to make that crystal clear. Calling us fake news, we wear that with a badge of honor. I'm going to have some Bossier Watch shirts made that say fake news.
Yeah, I mean, look, and that's fine. And it goes back to people think, they're all fine and dandy with us. I was saying it earlier, talking about, other people's sacred cows. I mean, the police jury and all them, they're fine and dandy with us talking about Bossier City. Y'all talk about Bossier City till the, day's end. Keep on going. They're happy. and all the people that don't like Bossier City, they're happy with us talking about Bossier City. But the moment we start talking about the police jury and they like the police jury, well, then now we're the bad guys because we're talking about the police jury. And same goes with, say, the sheriff's office. Same goes with the school board. It's every one of us. We're all hypocrites in our own way. We all have our own sacred cows. And unfortunately for you and I, we're the bad guys that talk about all of these different people and all of these different things, and everybody hates us and everybody cuts their eyes at us. But we also see the other side when they're in the background cheering us on when we're going after somebody else.
Or sending us text messages and all sorts of things. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And look, I'm not trying to cry over any spilled milk type situation or anything like that. Again, you call us fake news, we're gonna shout it from the rooftops and wear it with a badge of honor. So you got to come up with something better than that.
Yeah, because anyway.
All right, let's get into some real stuff to talk about.
Well, Ryan Haygood makes a post there. I want to kind of address that. Vince versus Ruth debate. I mean, I think it should happen. I can tell you, I know Ruth Pope Johnson. She'll debate Vince Maggio in a heartbeat. But Vince Maggio won't even come on the show. There's no way he would debate Ruth Pope Johnson. Y'all all tag Vince Maggio. Y'all tag all their people. Debate Ruth Pope Johnson. Let's do it. I mean, if we can do it right now, I don't care. They can both come on right now, and we can do it. And I know that you wouldn't influence it, and I wouldn't influence it. We would set the ground rules. Everybody could watch, and if we didn't do it fair, everybody out there watching, you could call us liars. You could call us whatever you want. You'd see it. I mean, it's a live show. It's right here, right now for God and everybody to see if we didn't do it fair.
And look, that's kind of a segue in. I'm going to show a picture here, and then I'm going to segue into our invite. So I'm kind of going to jump around just a little bit on our notes. But this is a picture from Vince's page, and guess who that guy is?
Well, if I'm looking at the picture, well, maybe, it is Vince Maggio page. Okay.
Yeah.
That looks like Marlon Brown, the guy who we had played the audio from Colonel Crockett. He, had went there and told him he's recording, and well, we got the audio. We can play the audio again. I mean,
yeah, we could. As a matter of fact, let me roll that. So hold on just a second here. Let me get the right one. I think it's this one. Hold on.
Yeah, because the substance of this.
Dave Crockett, who am I talking to?
Marlon Brown.
Mr. Brown, what's your address, friend?
Ben Road, Bossier, Louisiana, 71111.
Yeah, you asked me to remove one of Vince Maggio's signs in front of your house about a week ago. Is that correct?
That's very correct.
Yeah, and then somebody came back and put that sign back in your yard?
And told me I couldn't remove it.
Told you couldn't remove it. Who was that?
I don't know. It was a brown-headed lady that was walking, and she said you cannot remove that sign.
Okay. Well, I will just let you know that I'll probably send this to Bossier Watch. They're a podcast, and we'll put that out to the public. But I want you to know that nobody can force you to put a sign in your yard. You can take it out. You can stick it in the trash. You can do whatever you want to, as far as I know. I'm not for sure. But anyway, thank you much, my friend, and I'd say if you want to take it out, but I'm going to go fix the other sign out there. But thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
God bless.
Bless you.
All right, so that's a rewind of the video. Now fast forward, and, well, there's Mr. Marlon Brown.
And I would point out that now Ruth Pope Johnson's signs are not in Mr. Marlon's yard anymore. No. So, what did Vince go up there and say to Mr. Marlon that made him change his mind? What did he say?
I don't know. The one question. Go ahead.
I want to point. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Rex. I apologize.
No, you're good. I was trying to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing, and here's the other thing that people will need to understand. Ruth Pope Johnson, apparently, she can't have signs in District 5 because all of her signs mysteriously have been coming up missing everywhere. I mean, they just disappeared. So Vince has signs in almost every yard, but Ruth had the opportunity to put signs in, but they all just keep coming up missing. I don't know.
Kind of an odd thing. Kind of an odd thing.
It is an odd. It is.
Now, here's the question that I wish the Colonel had asked him, and I don't know, maybe Vince asked him. I wonder if Marlon Brown voted for Vince last election, if he supported Vince last election, if he was considering voting for Ruth in this election. And then again, the magic question, what changed his mind after the sign controversy, where he apparently is going to go vote for Vince Maggio this election? I wonder what changed his mind. I wonder who he supported last time. Who was that Vince ran against last time? I always forget her name.
Well, here's what I want to know. You heard what he said a while ago. You heard his statement. And what I want to know is what did Vince tell him? Because Vince won't come on the show and tell all of you what it is that he told Marlon, that made Marlon suddenly believe. But we, asked Marlon. He apparently is, all in the Vince camp now or something. I can't read that, but maybe you can read what he responded on that post to Vince there.
Yeah, he said, thank you, Mr. Brown, for keeping my sign in your yard. I appreciate you and your wife's support. And hey, I got to say, we might be faux news around here, but I'm just proud to know that we had an influence on Vince having to go over there and talk to that potential voter to gain his support back. I'm so glad that we could, precipitate that and help Vince connect with a voter, at least one. Maybe he knows he'll get one vote if the guy votes for him.
Yeah, I mean, so for everybody watching, we have sent a message to Mr. Brown. I mean, you went on the page there and messaged him about that him and Marlon, both of them could come on the show, and we would love to hear how they came to this conclusion. I also personally messaged Mr. Marlon, and because I want to hear the story.
Right.
I want to hear did him and Colonel Crockett collude for him to say all the things that he said? I mean,
yeah, and look, in full disclosure, that comment, it says 1 minute there on the screenshot, but I posted it about 45 minutes or an hour ago, maybe 30 minutes before we came on the show. So in full disclosure, they may not have had time to see the notification, all that. But again, all politicians, including Vince, because he is a sitting city councilman and he's running for re-election, are welcome on the show. Mr. Marlon Brown, you're welcome to come on the show either tonight, send us a message, or if we do a special show Thursday night, y'all are more than welcome to come on Thursday night. We'll give you the microphone for a little while, let you say your spiel if you would like to.
Okay. Hey, Mr. Let's see here. Mr. What is it? Mr. Brown. We are talking about you and Maggio right now live. You're welcome to come on the show right now. Here is the link.
Yeah. There you go. See? We try to be fair and balanced, sort of, in our own special way. All right, so let's see. Mark Crouch says Vince probably paid Mr. Brown off. That's Bossier Parish politics. Now, Mark, we would never accuse anybody of doing anything underhanded like that.
All right. So Marlon has the link, and
Rusty says, "Don't hold your breath, waiting for that to happen." Hey, they're welcome to come on.
Yeah, look, we're just doing our part. I mean, because I really want to know. I mean, because, Ruth had signs in that yard and they're now gone. I mean,
right.
The Colonel, people can criticize the Colonel. The Colonel took the signs back to Vince and he was called a boy, I mean, maybe Marlon approves of that kind of language. I mean, maybe he approves of, being derogatory, boy, and you're trash and all that. Maybe that appealed to Marlon. I don't know. But now I'm just wondering about Ruth's signs. I mean, it's clear that only one candidate can have signs in Motor City District 5. So the point of that to me is that if you're a voter in 5 and you make your decision based off of the sign wars, you're not paying attention. You might ought to pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I agree 100%. If you're an actual voter who goes and votes consistently or fairly consistently, even if this is your first election voting, the sign wars, everybody plays the sign wars game every election cycle. How much bearing it really has on election, who knows? I don't know if there have ever been any studies done on that. But it's definitely just a game every election cycle, the sign wars.
Yeah, and it's the nature of campaigns and politics. It devolves into crazy, stupid crap. I mean, and you've got people like look. I mean, there's some people in there that are in these comments saying, you don't know that Vince. You ain't saying Vince took the signs. I'm not saying that. I mean, but
no.
It gets this tit for tat, and did he pay him? I don't know. That's why I want to hear what Marlon has to say. I want to hear why.
No.
Ruth, I don't think had any conversation with him. She's the candidate. Colonel Crockett had conversations with that individual, and then Vince went and had conversations. All I know is that Vince's sign was taken to him. Ruth's signs are gone, and Marlon ain't talking. But now all of a sudden he's a big Vince guy.
Well, Lisa Smith.
And we're fake news.
Well, and look, Lisa Smith, and I think she may be a Vince supporter, and that's fine. Even if we disagree, we'll welcome you on the show. And if you're not a Vince supporter, that's fine too. But she brings up a good point. She says, I'm still confused. Billboards in their yard, and they don't call either candidate. They call Crockett instead. Why? So let me address that, Lisa. I think I'm telling it correct, but you can go a couple of shows back and listen to the Colonel's retelling of the events. I think the Colonel was door knocking and going around campaigning and got into a conversation with these people, because if he sees a Vince sign, I think the Colonel will actually go up and knock on their door to see why they support Vince, if they want to have a chat. And I think that's how they got into the conversation about the signs. Now, I could be wrong about that. Again, a couple of shows back, we interviewed the Colonel and talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, and look, the Colonel he's able to go just like anybody. You, Lisa, you can go campaign. If Joey Herman, who's posting in here, wants to go campaign, who else is in here? There's Lisa, Rusty Maddox, Val Baker, C.R. Judd, Jeff Sadow, Mark Crouch, Ryan Haygood. If any of you want to go knock doors for anybody, for Maggio, you're all welcome to go do it. It's a free country. I mean, why can you not? And if you want to go to only the houses where there's a Maggio sign and talk to the people about why you're supporting Maggio and talk about the record, why is it that why can you not talk about the record? Why is that? Why is the record all of a sudden talking about the record, Rex, is you're a liar, you're trash, you're Canadian news. I mean, why is it when you want to talk about the record? I don't understand.
Well,
I mean, I see people making posts on Facebook talking about the facts and national politics and all of this, but yet when it comes to talking about local sacred cows, oh no, we can't do that. Heck no. There's limits to how. Anyway, I'll stop.
Well, look. I mean, I understand your point and realize that you're doing that on behalf of, we've got over 100 watchers right now that are not necessarily used to politics and campaigns, but you know as well as I do that campaigns are going to take any slight little positive thing and try to spin it and blow it up as big as they can, and they're going to take any negative and try to spin that down and diminish it as much as they can. But the facts are the facts. Here are the facts. I'll say this one more time, not to belabor the point. The fact is, the Vince sign was up. The colonel, who is his own guy, he does his own thing. He's like a wind-up toy going through neighborhoods like the Energizer Bunny. He talked to this guy. The guy says, I want the sign down, or take the sign, or whatever the conversation was. He takes the sign out. Now Vince has to go over there because it got blown up, of course, on social media, and has to address it with this guy. So now the Vince sign is up, and the Ruth signs are missing or gone. We're not saying Vince took them. We're not even saying Marlon took them. But the facts are, the Ruth signs are gone. The Vince sign is back up. That's it. That's all.
And it's not just there that the Ruth signs are gone. Look, I've been helping Ruth. I make no bones about it. And I can tell you for a fact, I put out some signs for her, and the very next day, they were gone. Gone.
Yeah, it's a game.
I know it for a fact. So, apparently the only campaign who can have signs, political signs, in Bossier is the Maggio campaign.
A Maggio positive campaign.
Bravo, Maggio campaign. Y'all won the sign war. You got, signs in almost every yard. Good job.
Lisa Smith says, and so I want to put this up, she clarifies, she said, I'm no Vince supporter, just trying to make sense of the whole situation. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for clarifying, Lisa. And again, look, if anybody is on here that is a Vince supporter, it's okay. Look, you can articulate in the comments if you want why you support Vince, but expect some pushback from us because we're very biased and don't like Vince politically, and expect some pushback from folks in the comments. That's the way this works. So, all right. Are you getting text already?
Yeah, somebody told me we needed to check the freezer.
Inside joke, but if you know, you know.
Look, that is my problem with people. I want to debate the issues, because, and that's what I hate about these elections is because people don't debate the issues, and let's debate the issues. But when you have a candidate, that is basically above reproach, and this is the case, I'm sorry, and it's going to be offensive to some people. And I considered Vince a friend in the past, and a majority of the people that are supporting him have been friends of mine, and I consider them friends. And he is above reproach. He can't be questioned on his record. Defend the record. That's what this is about. And if you can't debate and argue with me and say, Duke, you're wrong, when I say, Vince, when I make the argument that Vince, you sat there and you allowed the council to ignore the request about bringing illegals, and Darby signing the letter. You sat there silent and didn't say a word. Right. That's not leadership. If you are in fact the big Trump, Mike Johnson Republican, you should be opposed to illegal immigration in every form, and you should stand up and fight for it. But Vince did none of that. In fact, he sat on that council, kept his mouth shut like he did the majority. He didn't lead. He sat there and he was quiet and he didn't say a word. He should have advocated for a citizen who feels like that illegal immigration within our community is a danger to you and me and everybody else. Vince shouldn't have sat there quiet. He should have got on board with that. And for those supporting Vince, you want to defend him. How do you defend that?
Because he's a nice guy.
I'm sorry.
He's a nice guy. That's all I hear. He's a nice guy. Oh, and he spent his own money. He's such an effective city councilman that he spent his own money to I don't know, put out trash dumpsters or empty trash dumpsters or pick up trash or whatever the heck he keeps putting out in his campaign deal. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You're such an effective councilman that you had to spend your own money to do something that is literally the city's responsibility for, that people pay fees and taxes for? Come on, give me a break.
Somebody said, and I don't care. I'm going to say it who it is. Ruth Pope Johnson. She said, I think she said it at the Nobo luncheon. She said, there are people. I think that was where she said there are people who are in or within the guardrails of the local politics and the good old boy system. And if you're within those guardrails, you know, you're content. You're happy. You're going to probably continue to vote for, you know, whoever the person is to protect your personal self-interest. But if you're outside the guardrails, you're out in the cold.
Yeah.
It's the winners and the losers, the insiders and the outsiders. Otherwise, what we call on this show, the good old boys and everybody else. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not in the guardrails. Maybe I was in the guardrails at one time. I'm not anymore. I'm out.
You're way beyond those guardrails, without a doubt. All right. What shall we talk about? Shall we go ahead and let's go into the city council meeting? Because we need to kind of get that out of the way, because this is an important topic. It's like literally, I expect there to be a boxing match between Jason Rowland and, I don't know, David Montgomery.
Well, I mean, I Vince was leading the show here. I mean, y'all watch. Vince was front and center in all this debate today.
Oh yeah, he just had lots of input about it. So let me switch screens over here.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm trashing him by saying that he was leading. He was, you know, in the heat of battle, in the heat of debate.
Nah. All right. Let's see. Let me switch screens here. Hold on. Let's go over here. All right. So,
you know what's ironic? Just stop.
What's that?
Just stop. You know what's ironic?
What's that?
That some of the people saying, you know, that we're trashing him and lying about him, they agree with us. They agree. I mean, what does that say? I know that. I'm not going to burn them. I'm not. Right. But they agree with us.
Yeah. Some people are just going to vote for their perceived friends, let's put it that way, no matter what. I don't even know if I want to listen to Robert Berry's ordeal. Maybe we'll save that for next week. How about that?
Go ahead. Let's go down the Robert Berry road. Let's go through this council meeting, and we'll jump a little bit back down memory lane and explain to people why it's significant that suddenly, inexplicably, Robert Berry is ceremonial. Alice Boyer's been trying to get on the agenda to talk to him for how long? And they've thrown her ass out of a damn meeting. But yet Robert Berry can inexplicably just show up and just start talking about how great they all are up there and how good of a job they've all done. And, by the way, if they've done such a great job, why is it that they're fixing to potentially be sued by the school board for millions of dollars that they didn't send to the school board like they were supposed to? He damn sure didn't talk about that.
Well, let's hear what he did have to say, and then we'll go down memory lane with Mr. Robert Berry.
Robert Berry, 125 Carondelet Court, Bossier City, Louisiana. And yes, I do live inside the city limits, and I love my city. I'm here today on really two things. First of all, I appreciate the invitation to be able to come, and it was with pleasure to deal with the two ladies to get to this point. Called in and got added to the agenda. A lot of thoughts have gone into this. I know a lot of negative has gone on in the city, but I'm trying to show positive. Over 13 years ago, a small family company decided to take a leap of faith and come into Bossier City. They rented a small 1,700 square foot showroom on Swan Lake Road. 3 years later, with the help of this body here, the city council, the mayor, the development of what we call now Commerce Street off of Shed Road came into play with the infrastructure and stuff.
Hey, let me pause right there, because I agree with Alice that it is pretty nauseating. But correct me if I'm wrong, Duke. Doesn't Robert's wife work for Coburn's?
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah.
I'm almost positive. Okay,
I don't know for a fact, but I've heard that, so I'm pretty sure that's correct.
All right.
Several of the council members that are here now were involved in that matter. This company moved to that location, bought the land, built along with other companies. Since they've been there, within the 8 years they've been at this location, 2 years ago they had to add on another 5,000 square feet. They're actually in the mode right now to add on more square footage. And the name of this company is Coburn Supply. They're based out of Beaumont, Texas. They now have 65 locations. They have branched now into Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. I was very involved and appreciative to get to go to their 90th anniversary in New Orleans this past year. Every 5 years, this company holds a big event where they come in and honor everybody for their stores, and they bring in 27 to 3,000 employees and pay for them to come in with their families, and it's a 3-day event. With the expansion of going into Alabama and Tennessee and up into Arkansas, we're now looking at trying to move the meetings to different areas. They hold quarterly mandatory meetings where they have to do up on-the-job training and stuff like that. And then every year they have what they call a summer promotion that they do. So
speed it
I'd
up,
like to
Robert.
try to get with the people in this body to get with probably Lisa Johnson. I see she's in attendance today, and Stacy Brown, to start working with this company to see could bring them here and benefit from the convention center that we have.
I want to stop and bring up one other thing because his voice is like nails grating on a chalkboard to me. Does everybody realize that Stacy Brown with the Tourist Convention and Bureau and all that, and look, full disclosure, they helped us out in some fishing tournaments and all that, think the world of them. But, and the Chamber of Commerce, they're not like government entities. The Chamber of Commerce is a private organization. But it's like everybody thinks it's part of the government somehow. So, anyway, just wanted to bring that up. All right, here we go.
Here in Bossier City, plus in work with some of the casinos and hotels to bring the families in. It's a very big deal. This company also, you've got 3 brand new subdivisions that are being developed right now in the city. You've heard Ben talk about those over the last couple of months. This company has supplied all of the infrastructure supplies for all 3 of those subdivisions. Not only that, they have supplied the supplies for the water expansion down to the port. Now the port, I bring that up because right now they have 3 distribution centers in their general areas, but with the expansion of going north, it's possibly they're looking at doing another distribution center. So it's something that could be entertained from the port, that if they do that, maybe they could use some space down there. Now, the importance of this is to show that this body,
all right, I slowed him back down.
So
listen carefully.
The mayor and all of their staff, it takes a team. It's not just one person, a team. You have what you call a future development, and you look at it, and it takes money. I mean, it takes money to put this stuff into place. But look at what the payoff is. This company, 90%.
I got to stop it for a minute. We got to break up the monotony with some kind of commentary. I would like to point out there is a future city council person sitting there in attendance, taking notes, doing her due diligence. And is that Miss Deborah sitting right there as well? There's 2 ladies.
That is Miss Deborah.
All right. So just want to point that out. I don't see any of the other potential candidates there. Of course, Darby, I guess, is sitting up on the deal. All right.
Well, they're both already up there. They're incumbents.
Yeah, they're incumbents. All right. So basically what he's doing here, folks, notice he's mentioned the port. He's mentioned the city. He's mentioned business. He's mentioned growth. It takes money. Just keep that in mind as we continue through these.
Of their employees at this Bossier location are living right here in Bossier City. So their families are here, they spend the money, they stay here.
Yeah,
the award that they received last year, they came in second, only to Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee right now is on fire. It's a hopping area. But this Bossier location, which is y'all's, it's part of y'all's community, they came in second out of 65 locations. That's huge. That just shows the growth that's going and that people are wanting to come to this area, Bossier City. Another thing.
Are you sick yet? Are you about to puke?
We gotta stop. We gotta stop. You're killing me. I'm
Okay.
like somebody. I'm ready to like go jump off a cliff or something here. I
Let's
can't
see how
take it
many.
anymore.
We're gaining
But
viewers with this guy. I
but
don't
but
understand this. We should be losing viewers.
I agree with him. He's right, Rex.
Hey, here's the irony of it.
No, he's right.
Did Robert?
It
I know
takes
he's right.
money.
It does take
It
money.
takes
Wait a minute.
money.
Hold on, squirrel moment for just a second. Correct me if I'm
It
wrong.
takes money.
Didn't Robert Berry sign the petition, the term limits petition?
Yes, he went and did the online petition,
Okay.
and he did it because he was wanting to use it on a push card, and he called me about being able to put that he signed and supported the people's petition. And I told him, I said, well, if you signed the petition, yeah, I would say that you could use it. But if you didn't sign the petition, I'm pretty sure that you're going to get called out. And so he went online and he signed the petition.
Okay, so he signed the online version, but not the paper and ink version, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and he supports Vince Maggio, who doesn't support term limits except when he supports them because it's good for his campaign. All right, just want to keep that clear in everybody's head as we're listening to Robert Berry drone on for a company that's a good company. I'm not going to say anything bad about Coburn's. They're a decent local company.
No. I'm not saying all that about him being right. What I'm saying about it is that wasn't he the guy that was wanting like 100% or something tax increase while he was out there at the Cypress District?
Yeah, no, there's not. That's without a doubt. I mean, we can go pull the video. Maybe we'll have that for Thursday night of him literally pitching 100% tax increase for the Cypress District. Now, remember, this is before he was forced to resign for dual office holding. This was also before he got I forget, $20-something thousand a year raise, and all the while they're spending nearly $500,000 a year on Caddo Parish attorneys to sue a lot of the local people. There's also the whole missing $1 million event center. We hadn't brought this up in a long time. Did you know, folks, did you know that there's supposed to be, I'm not making this up, I've got the documents to prove it, $1 million event center out at the Cypress District? It's part of what they used when the Cypress District got their $3 million bond/loan. That was part of the pitch. They were supposed to put $1 million event center out there. Where is it? Has anybody seen it?
You know where it's at because you seen they were having a fish fry out there, and I think it was the Whitmans that were cooking the fish, and you saw Juliana Parks all out there up in the middle of it. You saw Rusty Lombardino all out in the middle of it up there, and I think even Mike Johnson crashed the party out there. But it didn't look like $1 million event center to me. But
no,
but interesting,
far
it was
from
all those names, the same people were all out there.
Well, hold on, it gets even better. So it was $1 million event center that was pitched. It's literally on the paperwork. We have video from the meeting where they're congratulating Robert Berry on putting up a $40,000 building in its place. Where'd the rest of the money go? Oh, and we do have the receipts for all that too, so I can actually answer that question, but I won't bore y'all any further tonight with Cypress District stuff that happened in the past, but it happened because of this guy. So, I'm going to hit play again.
Well, there's a lot. Like he said, it's all follow the money. I agree with. He's right about following the money, and you need money. He is.
Yeah, you can follow a lot of money at that little old Cypress District, which partially helped launch this show. By the way, it's part of the reason we launched this show was to help reveal some of the stuff going on and the shenanigans up there. But I digress. Here we go.
All right, keep going. I'll take as much as I can.
Mr. Ben, for running the water department, we are able to go to our restaurants, drink the water, have ice, drink iced tea, and not trying to knock Shreveport, but unfortunately, if you go to Shreveport right now, it tastes like dirt.
I didn't know that Manchac created iced tea. Holy crap! I had no idea. Damn.
Well, look, I got to give him a little credit there. All right, when you're right, you're right. Going to Shreveport, and I'm a big sweet tea drinker. It's what is in my glass every week. And the first thing I do when I go to restaurants is order sweet tea. I don't drink anything when I go to Shreveport right now, even when I go out to eat, because it tastes like dirt. And oddly enough, we pull our water from the Red River, which is like the sewage and wastewater from North Texas and Oklahoma, and our water does taste better than Shreveport's right now.
Right. And none of this crap he's saying, we already knew. We talked about this kind of stuff over a year or two ago. Why are we listening to him tell us? I don't get it. What?
You're going to make me say something I probably shouldn't say because it may offend some ladies watching. He is licking the particular parts of some male anatomy on the existing city council.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're being, Rex.
I said that politically correct.
I am condemning your comments. That's offensive, and I don't know how to penalize you, but if I could, I would penalize you. You're over the top a little bit there. But look, I want to talk about. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about, I don't want to hear what he's talking about. I mean, he's up here kissing the proverbial butt right here of all these guys. He's telling them about how great they all are, but the why. Why is he doing that? And then as well, in notes, there's a Facebook. He's doing fundraisers for none other than Vince Maggio. Cut 3.
All right, hold on a second. Let me get this pulled up. So I got to switch screens right there. I got to do this and do that. So hold on just a second. Cut 3. Robert Berry fundraiser screenshots. Here we go.
I mean, look, the Maggio campaign. They're running TV ads for a council district, and they've got Robert Berry out there front and center. Okay, I mean, it's almost like they were begging us to talk about this, and if so, we're going to oblige you. We're going to talk about it. But
yes,
I mean, hey, what is that big nice subdivision with the? Well, I'm not going to go there anyway. I mean, so.
Well,
Robert Berry apparently threw a fundraiser for Vince. That's great. He's entitled to support whoever he wants. I mean,
but let's do the little bouncing ball again real quick. And look, in full disclosure, Robert did allow some of the high school fishing events to happen at the park, and I will say he was very accommodating for that. But that's the only credit that I'll give him. This guy was the one who cost the taxpayers, literally all of us, because the Cypress District has taxing authority over about 80% of Bossier Parish. 80%. You don't just have to live at the Cypress District to be paying for that district. As a matter of fact, most of the money doesn't come from the folks living on the lake. It comes from all the rest of us. But this guy, I mean, you had to pry him out of there. He finally was basically forced to resign once the lawsuit got out of the 26 JDC. We're not going to revisit that whole debacle. But this is the guy that they're making as the poster child for Vince?
Scroll through the pictures. There's a bunch of pictures there. Can you scroll through those one at a time and pull them up?
Well, yeah, I can drag them over. So just tell me which ones you want to do.
No. You ain't got to do all that. But anyway, it's a who's who of the insiders. It's a who's who of all of the insiders. I mean, you got the Whitmans. You even got the sheriff. The sheriff's right there. The sheriff. I came across a campaign donation Robert Berry made to Julian Whittington. I think it was 2011 of $2,500. I mean, Robert knows how to grease the skids. I give him credit for that. He knows how to play the game, and he's playing it. And but why is he playing it all of a sudden now?
All right.
Well, what a lot of people.
Wait. We're not through bashing Robert yet. Hold on just a minute. So I do want to show some folks this. So this was a petition that was circulated back during the whole Robert Berry and Cypress District debacle. And this was for his removal. All right. Reasons: dual office holding, and the quotes: mismanagement of public funds, overreach of power, multiple open meetings law violations, ethics board, blah, 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 all that good stuff. And so we sent out this petition, and A lot of people signed it to have him removed. Now, it had no legal weight. It didn't, the police jury wasn't forced to do anything, but it was presented to the police jury. There were, I don't know, hundreds of people that signed it in short order. And notice that's Cypress Lake up there towards the upper left. A lot of the people don't live around the lake, but signed it because they're under the taxing authority of the lake. Now, you were saying, Mr. Lowry, about the reason why Robert Berry is doing all this. He's basically become the pitch man for the Vince Maggio campaign.
Well, a lot of folks may or may not recall that Robert Berry was forced to resign up there, but not after a big, imagine this, spending taxpayer dollars, wasting all of y'all's money fighting a dual office holding violation. Go to cut 100 if you can find it. There's so many in there.
Yeah, I think I've got it right here.
Cut 100. And
yes.
Right there you can see that was the initial letter sent to Robert Berry from the Attorney General pointing out that you're violating the law. Isn't it ironic that this is one of the front guys for the Maggio campaign that is a person who's not,
lawbreakers.
He's well informed in regards to violating the law. But, hey, but the law is not the law until the court settles it, right? So if you go to cut 105, and you'll see none other than Skylar Marvin versus Robert Berry. And if you'll scroll down a little bit, you know who the judge was that found
that
hey,
name's familiar.
Charles Jacobs.
All right, but wait a minute. We got to briefly explain this for folks that are kind of new to this, that didn't watch the show way back when. The way the dual office holding statute reads, you actually are supposed, it's against the individual, not the entity. Okay? So, Skylar Marvin.
That's why the Cypress District paid for legal fees and stuff, right?
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. Skylar's office, yeah, okay. Instead of trying to prosecute Robert Berry individually, did Robert Berry and the Cypress District. So guess what? The lawyers for the Cypress District were also defending Robert Berry. And Charles Jacobs, his signature is sitting right here on this judgment. Let's see which one this is. Okay. What did Charles Jacobs say right there? He says, it is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that defendant Robert Berry is not in violation of the dual office holding and dual employment law. He is not. Now, just as a refresher, once it got out of the 26 JDC, guess who was found to be guilty of dual office holding once the AG's office basically took the reins?
Oh, I know. If you go to cut 4, you can probably see what the Louisiana Supreme Court said regarding it. And yes. They didn't use this term, but whitewash, I think that's a term we've heard lately.
Yeah,
but
here we go.
Again, the insiders and the outsiders, obviously the Maggio campaign is aligned with the, people within the guardrails, and Robert Berry is apparently within the guardrails, unless you get outside of Bossier Parish. So
right, and look, right here, it says, this isn't our words, this is the court documents. The trial court, talking about Charles Jacobs himself, yes, city attorney Charles Jacobs, which is why we incessantly make fun of his legal prowess. The trial court erred in granting summary judgment declaring Berry's dual office or dual positions with the Water District do not violate the dual office holding law. The summary judgment is reversed and the case is remanded for further proceedings. That shows you just how great of a judge Charles Jacobs was, and is also a good indicator of how good of a city attorney he is.
Well, but let's not forget that the DA's office, by way of, and I will never forget it, Patrick Jackson, at that police jury meeting, handing Renee up there at the mic saying, here's some papers. And Renee was like, what are you talking about? What? And he's like, the DA is suing the Cypress District and Robert Berry to find out if the AG, Jeff Landry, now governor, is correct or incorrect. And basically was an attempt to do exactly what is happening right now with all of the councilmen regarding the malfeasance charge regarding the term limits thing. It's the same song and dance.
Same playbook.
Yep. Same playbook. So ultimately, Robert Berry resigned, and cut 30 is the Berry resignation via Ron Machota.
Now wait, we got to give a little context to this. We're not going to show the meeting, but if you go back and watch that police jury meeting, and we talked about it play by play on the show, I mean, he pulled out all the stops trying to be reappointed as the Cypress District appointee for the police jury, and so he would not have to give up his position as executive director. It was, I mean, he had everybody. I think Machota himself even got him spoke to the police jury.
All right. So let's get to the answering the original question that probably everybody has forgotten by now. But Rex, I want you to read right down there in the middle of the page, LARS 411121A2. Read that one.
All right, so let me put the little pointer on it right here. It says, no former member of a board or commission shall, for a period of 2 years following the termination of his public service on such board or commission, contract with, be employed in any capacity by, or be appointed to any position by that board or commission.
Well, right there above your old, I would call it a cursor, but your finger.
Yeah.
Keep up just a hair. Up. Oh, no. So you jump. Go back to where you were, all the way back down. Bang, up just a hair. 1, 2. Keep going. Right
there we go. Yeah.
Look at that date. Now,
what date is that, folks? Monday, July 31st, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. is when his term expired, right?
So 2 years would be July 31st of 2025.
Oh,
imagine that.
I bet he's got his watch set on that. I bet he's got his phone set on that exact time.
Now look, that's just a hypothesis. That doesn't mean for sure that he's bucking for anything in particular or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just speculating that that's what's in the cards here. But, cut 2, it tells me, why on earth does somebody wish to stay within the guardrails and be, one of us? Why does he want to be one of us?
Yeah. Oh, looky there.
This is some of your old work from way back when.
Yes, that would be the salary of Robert Berry as executive director of the Cypress Park from 2014 up through 2020. Notice his salary doubled. The guy was forced to resign, yet his salary increased substantially.
Now look, he said something to the effect in one of the posts that all you have to do is just you follow the money. Well, we're following the money, and he's absolutely correct.
He needs a job.
Well, I don't know that he needs a job, but when he was in charge of the money, I mean, he was making a ton of it. And it's not just that he was making money, he was using taxpayer resources to make money. We showed it on this show, Cut 9. We showed it on the show. This is all of your money, and Maggio is propping this up. This is what the Maggio people, all of you Maggio folks, call me a liar. Put it in the text, put it in the comments that I'm lying about all this, that none of this is true. I mean, this is y'all's guy. Just put it out here. This video right here, I personally made this video right here. And that property right there, you see me videoing through the windshield. I was told a tip came in that said that Robert Berry is on his personal property, a business there, with a storage thing, his personal property with Cypress District equipment, a backhoe, doing work on his private property while he was working, being paid for the Cypress District. And the video right there, I'm your witness. I videoed the backhoe working right there. I personally witnessed Robert Berry on it. And Robert Berry, if you want to come on and dispute and say that's not you, by all means, come challenge me, brother. Because you didn't just have that piece of park equipment on your private property doing work with it. There was other equipment. And that's all of your tax dollars. Did the sheriff, did they investigate this or do anything after we reported this? Did the DA's office do anything?
No.
Did the police jury do anything?
No.
Did the city of Bossier, did the Cypress District Commission, did any of these people, and I mean, look, I'm pissing off a lot of people's families because you're all related to people in these positions. I mean, and people in Bossier City, we're covering a lot of people that we're talking about, inside the guardrails. I mean, y'all tell me that we're lying and that's wrong and that's okay for a person using your tax dollars to fund their private business, to work on their private property and do all it. I guess what bizarre world am I in, Rex? Because apparently all that kind of stuff is okay. And this is the kind of guy that Maggio is agreeable to put out front in his campaign.
Yeah. Look, we're coming full circle. Y'all used to wonder and ask us why we talk about the Cypress District so much. Never in a million years did I actually anticipate, and Duke, I don't think you did either, that we would be discussing Robert Berry a la the Vince Maggio campaign, but yet here we are.
But what I do know, Rex, and we've hinted at it for a long time, and maybe it's time. Maybe since Maggio is fine with Berry being out there in front, maybe it's time that a lot of the people that, I saw some pictures in that fundraiser of people that there's allegations of receiving a lot of favors. And we turned those favors over because we thought it was criminal. We turned those favors over to a law enforcement agency. I'm just wondering, I mean, I don't know. Is it okay for people that are on the inside to receive benefits? I mean, Rex, let's throw one out there. What happened to the envelopes full of boat stickers that would make their way that was sent from the Cypress District down to Bossier City?
Right.
Do you know?
I didn't get one of them.
I didn't get one. I'm just wondering who in Bossier City got them. I mean, because they went down to City Hall, but I'm just curious. I mean, does anybody want to know?
And look, that may seem like a trivial thing, but those yearly boat stickers, if I remember correctly, are like $80 if you buy the upper tier of the boat sticker. And personally, I hate the things. They're butt ugly boat stickers that they force you to put on your trailer. Well, they try to.
Yeah, who got all those boat stickers? I just
I mean, there were allegations of RV parks and camps being key fobs for politicians.
Certain people had key fobs to be able to come and go and use your taxpayer-funded Cypress District Park as their own playland.
Right.
I mean, but apparently all that is okay for everybody, that's on the inside, except for all of you, the citizens of Bossier, or people on the outside.
Yeah. So here we again. I would have never imagined we would be talking about Robert Berry in lieu of Vince Maggio, but yet here we are again. All right. So where do we want to go from here? But like Duke said, it's the faux news show. We're the fake news guys. We're the guys that lie on everybody else. And I hate the use of that grammar. Somebody's lying on me. No, they're lying about you is the correct use.
So for the record, I'm getting friendly warnings from people that I shouldn't be putting this out there. That I shouldn't be putting that out there. That I should be worried about certain politicians and what they will do to me.
Well, here's the deal. We've already put everything we have talked about tonight. We have talked about on this show more than one time.
Yeah, and I appreciate, I respect and I appreciate, people expressing their concern. But it's about transparency and you need to know.
Right.
You need to know.
I agree. And look, again, this is not anything that we have not literally already shared on the show in different posts and all sorts of things. None of this is groundbreaking except the fact that his 2 years is up in July, which it fully explains, it's easy to see why he is angling and kissing the boots of everybody on the city council and whoever else and all the candidates and all that, so that he can angle and weasel his way back into some sort of bureaucratic position. That's it in a nutshell. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those expressing concern, by the way, we had witnesses, and they are who brought all of this stuff to us. Yeah, the Crazy Duke show. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. and imagine this: it's all over 5 shifts. Five shifts. Some of you you'll know what I'm talking about. Others of you won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were witnesses.
Yes, and there is a list and statements and all sorts of things. So, that whole threatening thing can go both ways. Don't forget. All right. Colonel Crockett says, what year was that? This was back in the 2019 to 2021, 2022 era, back around there. I'd have to go back and look at the dates of all that, and to be honest, I didn't do it. All right. Shall we keep going tonight, or what are our plans?
No, that right there is a pretty damn good part to stop at, but
do we want to mention any of the school board kerfuffle? Do we want to touch on that?
we gotta finish on. Oh yeah. I'm so sorry. We've got to keep going on the council meeting. Yeah. Let's switch back over.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to switch off of Robert Berry stuff and Vince Maggio stuff, finally. And we're going to switch now into the fight between the city council and the school board. And the city says the school board's picking the fight. School board says the city is. I mean, this is like a high school deal.
Wait a minute. Lisa Smith makes the comment of the year. I mean, she makes the comment of the year. I mean, this is pure gold. I so agree with what she is saying. It does need to be put out there. I just hope the new good old boys are any better, because no matter who is in office, Bossier will always be run by the good old boy system.
Now, that is a good point and very good comment, Miss Lisa. So here's the deal on that, because you're very right, Lisa. The ones that are coming in could end up being influenced by the powers, certainly not the money as far as, city council salaries or whatever, but all the added benefits that they could get and the power and the influence, they could very easily be corrupted by that. I will say, I don't think so.
It will be attempted to influence them. And I would say, if we want to prevent that, we have to support them. It's when we step away, we don't stay involved, and we don't, stay on top of the business that they're dealing with. That's when those things happen. So long as you stay involved, you can kind of limit that and prevent it. It's not an absolute, but we have a role as well.
Right. Yeah, and look, everybody has a role too. And folks, we appreciate each and every one of you that watches the show, whether you watch it live, watch it on the replay, or whatever. We appreciate everybody that comments on posts, and that shows up to some of the meetings from time to time. That is all a part of it, to keep an eye on everybody, as we like to say in our tagline.
Wes, you get your good old boy at the place where you trade in your victim card. Just letting you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move forward. So, how about we go ahead and switch gears? Let's get into this school board deal. And I'm at the point where Phyllis reads the City of Bossier versus the school board. How about that?
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
The resolution providing notice of the intent of the City of Bossier City to renegotiate the joint agreement for the collection of sales and use taxes between the City of Bossier City and the Bossier Parish School Board, first and final reading.
So moved. Second.
Councilman. Mr. President, I would ask that we continue this until April the 8th.
Second.
Vince has got I just got to point this out because it's pick on Vince time, but Vince has got a puzzled look like, well, why would he do that? So, anyway, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need to have a little bit more, some more meetings on this, 3 of us at a time, just to get a little bit more understanding about what is going on here than just what we're hearing, in passing. That I don't know of any of us except one council member that has had a true meeting about what is going on between us and the school board. And I think by us doing this, it's moving a little bit rational. And the last thing that I want to do is lead to another litigation or lawsuit. And that's just my personal thoughts on this.
Who made this?
Brian, do you want to? We'll get with the mayor and set a date on that. That's okay with
Okay.
Mayor and Charles and them.
Okay.
Charles, would you get with the mayor and y'all set a date and let us know?
Absolutely.
Let 3 of us know anyway.
Sure.
Thank you. Councilman, any more questions? Questions from the audience? Council, please cast your vote.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please state your name and address.
West Marriott, Sobo Live, 211 Shadow Ridge Drive, Bossier City, Louisiana. Continued or not, this resolution is worded dangerously. Mr. President, I am deeply disappointed in the way our city government has chosen to handle an issue that requires diplomacy, not division. You must reject this resolution as written. The proposed resolution before you was not just a simple commitment to renegotiation. It was a direct attempt to manufacture conflict between Bossier City and the Bossier Parish School Board, the 2 largest governmental entities in the parish. And for what purpose? To turn what should be a constructive discussion over financial agreements into an unnecessary and embarrassing public fight. Let's be clear, Bossier Schools has not taken a public adversarial position in this matter. Their statement, delivered to their spokesperson, Sonia Bales, was measured, diplomatic, and forward-looking. They did not accuse the city of wrongdoing. They did not demand repayment. Instead, they acknowledged that the sales tax agreement is outdated and stated a clear willingness to work collaboratively with the city to address it. Yet this resolution was not drafted with the same spirit of diplomacy. Instead, it invents hostility where none existed. It incorrectly attributes the audit's findings to the school board itself, as if Bossier Schools wrote the report rather than independent auditors. This is disingenuous at best and outright misleading at worst. Just listen to some of the language used in this resolution. This resolution mockingly reads that Bossier School has now discovered a new and alternate interpretation of the tax agreement. But who made that determination? Not Bossier Parish Schools. This was the auditor's report filed with the Louisiana Legislative Auditor. The resolution goes further, stating that Bossier Schools' position is not based in fact and that their concerns contradict 35 years of history. Again, falsely attributing a legal and financial interpretation from an independent audit to the members of the school board. It claims that Bossier Schools' concerns have no basis. Yet, if that were true, why did the school board not make any public accusations? Why did they not demand an immediate refund? Why did they instead take the high road and focus on renegotiating in good faith? This language does not reflect a government working in partnership. This is drafted to deliberately stir up division, setting up a public political fight where there should be a professional, cooperative discussion. And what's even more disappointing, that this resolution was not just drafted and approved by the city attorney, it was recommended for approval by Mayor Chandler.
Ooh.
According to the item's own fact sheet. Mr. President, the mayor had the chance to reflect this inflammatory language. He had the opportunity to insist that the city approach this issue with the same level of professionalism that Bossier Schools did. Instead, he, along with the chief administrative officer and the city attorney, signed off on a resolution that distorts the facts, turns an accounting dispute into a political battle, and makes our city look petty and combative in the eyes of the public. Bossier Parish and Bossier City share the same taxpayers. They serve the same residents, and yet this resolution pits them against each other for no good reason. If the city disputes the findings of the audit, that's one thing, but this is not the way to handle it. This is a complete rewrite. Reject the resolution as written. Thank you.
Well, I would say he summed it up fairly well.
Articulate as can be, as usual. I wonder, do folks know what we're talking about here?
I don't think they do. Maybe we need to just give a quick rewind back to, again, I think it was April of last year in our mushroom show, where we talked about basically what was going on.
Yeah. So are we going to just spill it out there again, or yeah? So as I recall, it was brought to our attention, show 231. It's been a lot of shows ago, and we put it out there that we learned that there was a discrepancy in the tax payments that were supposed to be collected by the city of Bossier and what is sent to the school board, and that the school board had determined that there was a shortfall in what the city had been sending. And, at that time, the source that had communicated to us, the number was much higher than, I think we're talking about 1.5 million now. The number was much higher with what we were being told at that time. But that also what we understood from the source was that it was a change in the city's calculations. At some point, something changed in the way that they calculated numbers. So fast forward to today, up until now, there's not been any confirmation that what we said was 100% accurate or not. In fact, there were some on social media that was, again, fake news. These Bossier Watch guys, these jerks that, putting stuff out there that's not accurate. Well, guess what? Here we are. It's coming full circle. And apparently the school board does, in fact, believe that the city of Bossier was shorting them. And, this resolution and the action that they're trying to take here, while Wes is correct in pointing out that it's going way, way far than what is needed here, there have to have a resolution to enable, quote unquote, negotiations to start. Well, negotiations have already been going on. They've already been negotiating.
Well, yeah, he says they've had 4 meetings between the city and the school board, 2 of which Jacobs himself was present at. I mean, so you're right. The negotiations have already been ongoing. I mean, and the inflammatory language. So here's the item fact sheet. You can go pull this down from the city site. I think we actually may have posted it, or we'll post it later, or link to it. But anyway, here's the deal. Here's the resolution, which Phyllis read earlier. And she didn't read all of this, but this is just talking about the joint agreement that was entered into December the 7th of 1989. The full agreement is at the end of this document. We also showed it back during our mushroom show as well. And it goes on, blah, 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 blah. But it starts getting about the 4th paragraph or 5th paragraph or so. It starts getting a little inflammatory, which is what Wes was alluding to. And there's a part in here, and we're going to hear this in a minute in this meeting, where Monty, the Queen, says that, oh, well, you know, this particular statement was not really in there. He just glosses over that fact, but it is actually in this document, and that gets brought up by Mr. Smith. So probably we should switch back and let's watch that dialogue.
Yeah, I want to address a comment real quick. Haygood says, now we get the buzzer. I want to point out, Ryan, that did you hear the buzzer with Robert Berry? No, you didn't. In fact,
Well,
he didn't stop till after about 10 minutes. He
Yeah.
went about 10 minutes. No buzzer for him.
But he was on the agenda under ceremonial matters. He was able to weasel his way into the agenda. I wonder why.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're going to talk good, if you you're trusted, but maybe if you throw a fundraiser for Maggio, that'll get you on the agenda. So,
Right.
Alice Boyer, you know what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so here we go.
Council, any questions?
Yeah, I do. Mr. Jacobs, if you're comfortable commenting, would.
I got to say, this is like tag team. I got a question. Hey, Jacobs.
Are you comfortable commenting?
Wow.
No, David, I'm not comfortable commenting.
Yeah.
But I'll comment
I'd like to
anyway.
ask a simple question. I appreciate it. What's written, the school board flat and simple will be charged the 1% as the other governmental bodies that we collect for are. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is the intent of the resolution. It's required by the existing local services agreement that's in place that we have to give notice to renegotiate. And that starts the 90-day clock if accepted or if passed by the city council. It is the intention of the city. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. We've met with several city council men, and we've had multiple meetings with the school board. Four, I
No
think.
trans.
And we have expressed our desire that we charge the police jury 1%, we charge the sheriff 1%, they're fine with it, very simple agreement. We charge every other political subdivision within Bossier Parish as the constitutionally mandated collector of all sales tax of 1%
Yeah.
fee.
Let's get to the good stuff. All right, so
Go to 3837.
yeah. Here we go.
Sometimes we need to provide clarity to all those in the audience, all those listening, and all those here at the council as well. Thank
How
you,
does he
Mayor
do
Chandler,
this with a
for
straight
your
face?
clarity, and thank you, Charles.
I've got one more since we've opened Pandora's box here. What about the $1.4 million that the school board is saying that we owe them?
Absolutely, unequivocally incorrect.
Y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. Absolutely, unequivocally incorrect. Go ahead, Duke.
But how does he know that?
Yeah.
I'm asking y'all in the audience.
I wonder if the city did an audit.
How does he know that?
Yeah, surely the city must have done their own audit and checked the math of the school board. So let's see how this plays out.
3952, Mark. I think we're going to get the answer.
Yes, I think we are. I'm just going to let it play through. Here we go.
Just because, I mean, that has not been discussed amongst, there may have been a couple of y'all in meetings. I have no idea. I was not privy to one of those meetings. So that is why I'm asking these questions now. That you expect us to vote on something when we're not privy to the meetings. We have no idea what was discussed in those meetings, but just to come in.
It's the Bossier way.
Leave it to the bull in the china closet, Mr. Hammonds himself, to just go in like a wrecking ball and just lay it all out there.
You're damn right. Keep
rolling. Here and vote on this. That's where the transparency does not come into play amongst us. The school board.
And look at the puzzle.
The school board says we owe them money. Y'all say we don't owe them money. I mean, I don't know. That's what the audit says, that we owe them money. I don't know. So if we're going to vote with this today, I will abstain from the vote.
You know, I didn't hear.
Them's nearly fighting words.
I didn't hear Robert Berry saying anything about any of this.
No.
Why didn't he not talk about this?
I don't know. He
Praise
was
him.
all well. He had his pom-poms out there, and you know, when you're a cheerleader and you're trying to get money and get into a bureaucratic position, you know, give him credit where credit's due. He's got to be a cheerleader. He's almost like, what's that woman from the Dadgum school board? Oh, Sonia Bales.
Well, maybe he didn't talk about that because he didn't want all the teachers in Bossier City and District 5 maybe turning that against Maggio, that he was, you know, or something like that. I don't know. I'm speculating.
All right, here we go.
Has the city done its own audit to either validate or dispute the school board's
Oh, that's a
audit
good
that was
question,
done?
Chris.
Yes.
Good.
Angela.
Good. Yeah,
Yes.
Angela.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Let Jacobs and now Angela do it. Here we go.
Yeah, Angela, come on.
We are going to. We haven't gotten it finished yet.
Did y'all hear that?
Oh, we're going to.
So Jacobs said unequivocally, they don't owe them that money. How would he know that? They have not. She just said they have not audited. I don't want you to listen to Montgomery's response closely here in just a minute, because he didn't exactly like Angela's answer.
Okay. Is that going to be done internally or through an independent auditor?
Independent auditor.
Independent auditor?
Uh-oh.
When do we plan on that being done?
I'm hoping they can get to it in the next couple of months. We'll just have to see what the auditor schedule is.
Hey, I wonder if the independent auditor is going to be the Moorhart guy.
Well, that was the question I was fixing to ask. Well, they already know what auditor it's going to be. How do they know that? Doesn't it have to come before the council?
I don't know.
But
I mean, it'll have to be funded. The auditors aren't free.
How would they already know?
Yeah, good question. All right, here we go.
But let me make something clear here. We're talking about two issues. One is what Brian brought up, and the fact of this new contract that we're proposing, 1%, which applies to the sheriff and the police jury. You're speaking to money that their independent auditors say that we owe, correct? I mean, we're not talking about that here today. We're talking about what we're going to charge going forward. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So I just want to make sure that we don't confuse the two issues. You're speaking to when are we going to find out do we owe the money or not? What we're saying is, and I don't want to speak for Charles or the mayor, but what I understand is that we're going to make it even across the board for all the entities. What we owe is a separate issue.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I'm all for everybody paying the same amount. Is the school board current with us right now?
No.
That was Jacobs. No.
No, we have the bill out to them for the period ended 12/31/24, and I don't know how long it takes them to process.
All right, here we go.
That's the payment,
That's
but we
back-
haven't received
That's
it
back all the way to
yet.
July,
Yes, sir, July through December.
and they're still getting because we have to pay, that's tax dollars that have to go to them. They're still getting their money, but we're not getting our money, correct?
Correct.
I don't want to take away your motion or Chris's, but I mean, I personally think we.
Thanks, Wes, for
discussed,
posting that link for everybody.
As far as the contract, as far as what's owed in the past, that's subject to.
All right, I'll revoke my motion.
He's going to revoke his motion. He's not going to
The reason
withdraw.
why I
He's
ask
going
is
to
there's
revoke
a
it.
paragraph in the resolution that talks about the sum that we may or may not owe. It says the city could possibly owe the Bossier Parish School Board the approximate sum of $1.5 million in assertion that the city categorically and unequivocally denies. But without an audit, I can't vote to categorically or unequivocally deny it because I don't know.
Well, I mean.
All right. 3 cheers for Chris Smith.
He finally got the second question.
Yes, he did. Y'all understand what he just said there. He said, look, this language is in this resolution, And I can't vote for this until we know for sure that we owe this money or it's not owed or whatever the deal is. And Angela just said that they haven't done an audit, even though Jacob says, oh, we absolutely know that they owe this.
Yeah, and in the comments, Wes is, submitting a link to the legislative auditors and information on the audit. They're the ones, not the school board, and that's kind of what the rub here is. The attorneys, the city attorney, Charles Jacobs, and I'm assuming Richard Ray, had input on this, and they were taking the tack of throwing a rock at the school board. And when it wasn't the school board, it was the legislative auditor's office. They're the ones that, that kind of went down this road. So anyway, good information.
Right.
Keep going.
All right, here we go.
Relying on our accounting people.
Right,
that they've done their job as they've done for the past 30-something years with the school board. And look, I'm defending them. But until that is verified, as you said, through an audit of independent personnel, then that remains to be seen. But I would say that we should vote on this, provide clarity going forward at the 1%.
Yeah, we just need to do it.
That way it applies across the board.
It'll make it clear. We just need to do it.
Yeah, no debate. I'm going to stand behind the finance people who I literally intimidate when they walk up there, but I'm going to stand behind them. He's so passive aggressive. All right, here we go.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to summarize what happens next. Chris goes ahead and makes a motion to amend this and take out all the language that was basically the legalese that was attacking the school board, and just, which, Montgomery was right in what he was saying. The intent of what they're doing here is they have to pass a resolution to, I guess you could say, legally begin negotiating with the school board on the tax collections and the rate to which they charge for the tax collections and all that crap. He's right in that regard, but the extra, what Wes was talking about, that it went further, basically attacking the school board was not appropriate. And I mean, it's got the city attorney's office all over it in what it was saying. And so Chris makes a motion to amend and strike that other language. And interestingly, I have to say, this was in my opinion, a positive with the council working together. And this is the way debate should happen. He made a motion to amend. Montgomery didn't really disagree with it. He was fine with it. He was okay.
No,
I
think Montgomery ends up seconding the motion here in just a minute.
He did. So, and that's where I want people to pay attention to something. They voted at the 4709 mark. You hear Bubba Don call for the vote, and this is where it's interesting. Go ahead.
Council, any more questions? Questions from the audience? Council, please cast your vote.
Freeze it when the vote comes up. Right there.
All right, right there.
What does that say up there?
Remove all paragraphs other than 1, 2, 3, and the last two of the proposed resolution. They just took out a pretty good chunk of that resolution.
All right, so that's the amendment. So hit play, let it continue. Let's see the vote on the resolution.
Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Adopt a resolution authorizing the police department to increase the number of sergeant positions by 1 and decrease the number of police officer positions by 1 on a temporary basis.
Bueller?
Hold on.
Oh, what? You gonna go find it?
Well, I'm probably not because it ain't there.
What are you holding on for?
Wait, I'm searching. I'm going through the transcript of the meeting.
Let me help you. You're not going to find it.
Well, surely it's in here, Duke. Surely they followed Robert's Rules of Motion. Oh, wait. Jacob said they don't follow Robert's Rules of Motion.
They didn't vote on the resolution. They voted to amend it, but they didn't vote to pass it.
Well, don't worry, Duke. It's only the first reading anyway.
I mean,
Legally,
what the
they don't
hell?
have to even vote on this one.
I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, look, wait a minute. Maybe we need to keep playing because I'm sure Maggio's going to jump up and call
I
me.
think Monty's taking a drink right there.
I mean, why didn't Vince jump up and say, "Hey, wait a minute, we missed something. We didn't vote on the resolution. We just voted on the amendment." Why didn't he jump up there?
Well, and look, full credit to Chris, like Wes said in the comments, for, showing some true leadership, bouncing off of Hammond's, and getting the resolution put forward, but they forgot the actual procedure they're supposed to follow. But they don't follow Robert's Rules of Order anyway, only sometimes, or when Jacob says they don't, or whatever. Anyway, but I digress.
Well,
All right.
Look, the fact they didn't actually vote on the resolution. I mean, I'm not real. I'm glad that they. But here's the thing, Charles Jacobs was talking about we have to pass this to start the 90-day clock ticking or whatever. I don't even know what the 90-day clock is about. I really don't. But now they've delayed it again. It'll be 2 weeks unless they call a special meeting so that they, like the Charter Commission, so that they can get their stuff ahead of the people's petition. Same kind of thing. They may or may not do that, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's time. This council, this way this government in Bossier City has been being run, it's tired, it's broke, it needs to change. And retaining the same old broken ideas, of go along to get along, the same people being on the inside rails. I mean, that's Darby and Maggio to a T.
Right.
Look, Maggio is a good person. I mean, I'm not going to take that away from anybody. I got to tell you, there's some things that give me pause. He didn't stand with the people, but I mean, he's not the political leadership, and even people who are criticizing us right now, they know it's to be true. They know it's true. They'll never tell Vince that. They'll never say it to him. They'll never say it to his face. But behind his back, they say it. And right. I mean, come on, people, be real. Be real. Life's too short to be a fake phony.
Well, it is. And look, I want to say this too. Wes has got a good comment. It's a little long. I guess I'll put it up on the screen. It says, this was the first time I can think that the council didn't do what the city attorney wanted. They wanted that language in there, and Chris and David teamed up to remove it. I can't think of another time where the city attorney's language was ignored. This is the first time I can think of. So, I don't know. Maybe we're making some progress. All of us collectively, 249 shows later, and thousands of comments and posts, and attending hundreds of hours of meetings and everything that everybody does. Maybe we're making some progress finally.
But don't you forget, none of it would be possible without Hal from Bossier Now. It's through Hal with Bossier Now that all things are possible.
I agree. Him and Mr. Sato have been hammering away for years. I mean, we get more comments in the first 4 minutes of the show than most of their posts get completely, but that's being mean.
I don't take issue with Sato so much, but I do take issue with the Hal thing. I do. And
we're dead to him, remember? If we're dead to him, I guess reciprocally, he's dead to us. But I don't think he's dead to us. I mean, I cite his articles every once in a blue moon.
Well, he's dead to me after this week. I mean, and I can prove that he's not. His interest is not in what's in the best interest for the Bossier or the local community. It's in his damn wallet. That's where his interest lies.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm
look,
peeved about that one. I am peeved about that one. I can take the personal. He can take a shot at me. That's fine. I can take a personal. That's fine. But when he wants to monetize making, money off of what should otherwise be public information, it should just be put out there and won't release it. I take issue with that.
Well, yeah, I agree. Look, I'm a capitalist through and through, but he doesn't need to hide behind the veil of doing this for altruistic reasons, yet on the same, in the same vein, be, trying to absolutely make money. And I know what you're referencing, and we may talk about it in the future if you want or not or whatever. So I don't begrudge anybody from being a capitalist, but don't sit there and say, you're helping lead this charge towards term limits and you've been such a part of it. I don't remember seeing Hal walking at all.
His ass ain't never done nothing. I ain't seen him nowhere. Nothing. All he's done is write some articles, and that's fine. Well,
hey, he did write a good article about us. I think I'll republish that one. Maybe he'll sue us for copyright infringement.
Yeah, he probably will, or he'll charge $150 damn a week or something.
No, it's not on his website now. Trust me, he's yanked it down, but he did. I have a copy of it.
Look, Sadow, I give hat tips to Sadow. Sadow has been in the game for a lot of years. He's wrote
He
a lot
has.
of stuff.
It is true.
He has advocated admirably for what he believed in for a long, long time. He has been up there. He was there. He was there before Jim Wells was doing the stuff Jim Wells was doing, and around the time of early, I would say, the James Q. Welborn type stuff. He was advocating during those days. There was no how. There was no money grubbing how.
Yeah, well, I will be doing a deep dive into the origins of all of this. Very deep dive. Yeah. The truth, who said that in the comments earlier? The truth shall set you free. Anyway, I digress. All right. You got anything else, Mr. Lowry?
No. Yeah, actually, I do. So, look, we still have some more stuff. We're behind. So we're going to do a Thursday show, right? A special Thursday show, right?
We can. Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's some other stuff cooking, like with the police jury, that we're going to have to put out there on Thursday, and we're hoping that Sign Boy Marlon is going to come on, and we're hoping to get him on to tell us. We just want to know, Marlon. We just want to know what it is that convinced you to change. I mean, because I want to know the truth. I don't want to know. I just want to hear it out of your mouth. I've heard what you told the colonel. I heard what y'all's conversation was. I want to hear what the conversation was between you and Vince. Vince is not going to come on here. He's not going to tell us. He's not going to publicly say it. He's not going to do it. You're not going to be able to debate with him. I want to know what it is he told you. That's what I want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know. Maybe we will have special guests on Thursday night. So, hey, folks, look for us. I'll try to put a calendar notification up tomorrow or something, but looks like we'll be doing a Thursday night show. We got some more information, so if y'all want to hang out with us Thursday night, 7 o'clock, same time, same place, we will be here. What say you now, Mr. Lowry?
I'm out of here. It's time for a change. Good night.